Hi folks, welcome into another edition of This Week in Pearl. I'm your host Frank Hutton, and today we're going to go under the dome. That's right, we're going to bring in our two standard guests that we have all the time. It's going to be Representative Gene Newman and Senator Dean Kirby, the pro temp from the Senate. We're going to bring them in today because we're going to talk about two very important things. One, the judicial issue that they had for youth court. That was a kind of a little bit of a thing that happened, and the governor called a special session for that, so we're going to talk about that on the special session. And then one of the hottest topics for next year, we're going to do a check-in and see about redistricting, everything from state to congressional federal redistricting. So we're going to talk about both of those. So don't go anywhere, because when we come back, Senator Dean Kirby and Representative Gene Newman. We'll be right back.
Here in Pearl, we have Trustmark Park. It seats 8,500 people. It's a great venue that we have here locally. You can catch a baseball game. We have a new team, the Mississippi Mud Monsters, so we're so excited about that. And Trustmark Park, the stadium's been fully renovated. Adjacent to that, we have Bass Pro Shop, as well as the Mississippi outlets that people can come shop and enjoy and have a great time. So it's a good place to come. It's a destination spot for our city. We did a $12 million renovation to our Parks and Rec several years ago, and what we were missing was another key area for our children to come and just be able to hang out and have fun, but also have some playground equipment that was really cutting edge. I've always thought if you can get your community together, then you can have a stronger sense of community. And I think that's what Main Street brings to the table for us. And even though we're a post-World War II city and our architectural doesn't signify a downtown, we're trying to have an area that we create that people can come together and have a sense of community.
Hi folks, welcome back into This Week in Pearl. I'm your host, Frank Hutton, and I am excited to go under the dome today as I'm bringing in our very special guests that we have each and every week during the in-session time for the State House and Senate, is my Representative Gene Newman and Senator Dean Kirby. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Thank you for being here. I mean, this is kind of off-season, I guess you would say. Well, it's really not for you guys.
Well, we just got through with a special session, so
I'm still going to the Capitol nearly every day.
You're still going. I mean, it's kind of, but you're not in session per se.
Yeah.
You're not in session, but right now there's a lot going on, and it just never stops, does it?
Doesn't never stop.
No, really, just because you're not in session doesn't really mean anything. No. You're just not gaveling in every morning and voting on bills and that kind of thing.
That's correct.
Right, y'all are talking about the bills that are fixing to come up.
We're meeting committees and doing all that. Yes.
And all that stuff. But let's just jump right into it, because we had a special session.
We did.
And I kind of want to talk about it a little bit. Youth court, the juvenile court system kind of had a hiccup. After the fiscal year expired on June 30th of 2026, and you guys didn't fully renew or replace we
call it a bill sunsetted.
Bill sunsetted, right,
yes.
Right, and you didn't.
It expired.
We didn't
renew it or reauthorize the bill, right? So here's kind of what happened. I guess if we can get to it, the point of contention was youth court secrecy and access to records. Judges, attorneys, media organization, and lawmakers, you guys disagreed over what records should remain confidential and who should be allowed access. Old statutes expired, and then y'all just never did anything with it. Not sure why, and we don't have to get into that, but the governor called a special section for you guys to fix it because there were issues, right, Gene?
Yeah, well, you had the courts that were non-functional in some instances, so because you couldn't share information with child services, and then the courts and lawyers couldn't have this and lawyers couldn't have that. You can't function like that. You got to be able to have the information you need to be able to either defend a child or if a child needs to be taken out of a home or whatever needs to happen, that you got to have that information, and that wasn't happening. We were actually in a kind of almost in a shutdown mode with the youth courts, and the Supreme Court had gotten involved and done some rules to try to emergency help them, but I mean the Supreme Court I think had gone to the governor and said we got to do something, you got to fix this because we can't keep functioning like this. So governor met with the speaker and the lieutenant governor, and they made a decision to have a on what the special session would cover, and the youth court bill last year was, I mean, a lot of the stuff that we passed, we had it in what's the committee at the end of the session to just everybody agree, and we just reached a point where it didn't get agreed on. But most of what was there is most of what's in this bill now was in that bill that we had already worked on, and they've been working on it for 5 years.
I was just figuring to say.
Yeah,
this has been going on for 5 years.
We have a lot of attorneys in the legislature, of course.
Right, right.
Mm-hmm.
And they understand it way more than we do.
Mm-hmm.
And but let me say this: Rankin County has a very good youth court system, but because of well, I hate to say because of the legislature, but because of existing laws, let's put it that way, or non-existing laws, they had their hands tied as to what they could do. And so it needed to be done, and I'm glad that we got it done. It'll help the children, it'll help the families,
So if I understand this correctly, in the reconciliation between the two houses, two branches there at the legislature, y'all have been talking about this for several years, and had it kind of worked out to a point. It just never came out of that committee.
There was always one little issue that they was hanging up on. Lawyers are lawyers, and they're going to do lawyer things. And,
right.
That drives the rest of us crazy. But they were arguing over these issues, and they let the bill die.
And we just didn't think about, oh well, this is going to. I mean, nobody really kind of thought about it that it was going to sunset.
Well, they forgot that the sunset part was tied up into that bill, and so they didn't. So when they was worried about the other stuff,
I got you. Just an oversight happened.
The changes that we made in youth court statewide are major changes.
Well,
because you've involved now Chancery Court and all the counties that now the counties that are 50,000 or above that had youth courts that were set up under county courts, those do not change. Rankin County doesn't change. Madison County doesn't change. Some of the counties on the coast don't change, but all the other counties. It was just a discombobulated mess because
they actually didn't have youth court.
Yeah, some of the counties didn't have youth court, and the Chancery, it was assigned to Chancery Court, but the Chancery was already so busy they didn't have time to deal with it, so they were assigning different lawyers to be special masters and
like
do that stuff and try to take care of it. And you had situations where you had children that needed to be taken out of a home immediately.
Right.
You had to get it before somebody, and there was nobody to get it before. So
a couple of things, and I can mention this that came out of this was transitioning towards a more uniform statewide court youth system. You added more full-time judicial oversight, including additional Chancery Court judges over time, over a period of time. You eliminated the use of court referees in favor of judges, so no more of that special master stuff. Created additional state juvenile detention capacity, which we'll talk about in a second. You expanded diversion and rehab programs for eligible youth offenders and required stronger due process protections, including written orders, revising confidentiality and public access rules for youth court proceedings and records. Now, you don't just dream that up in a couple of days. Right. So clearly you guys have been working on this, because of the special session when it was called, and all of a sudden a couple days later it was done. So I mean, you clearly have been working on this. You just ran out of legislative time, and nobody. Am I about right on that?
That's right.
So and they continued to work on it, and that's why it didn't take us but like 2 days.
Right. It didn't really take about 2. It was basically a formality, just come in and vote on what had already been handled.
There were committees from the House and the Senate that were meeting the whole time
to make this happen. So let's talk about a couple of those things. You mentioned about one, about adding more judicial oversight, and then the other thing you mentioned was a more uniform statewide judicial system.
Right.
To fix some of it, instead of having what you just described. The other thing, though, you talked about was creating additional state juvenile detention. What's that about?
So we had one youth detention, youth detention center, and that's Oakley, down here below Raymond.
Raymond.
And at one time, that facility would hold 500 people. It's got about 100 capacity now, at best. So.
Is it age, Gene?
Yes, it's just the facility's old, and nobody was putting any money into it. Nobody was paying attention to it.
Right.
You know, it's part of the Department of Human Services. It's not part of the Department of Corrections. It's not anything else. So nope. You know, people didn't know, and you know, I'm on the facilities management committee.
That's right.
And we had gone down there last year and toured it, and it was that you had some parts of it that they were doing good with it. They was able to keep it together, but parts of the older buildings out there were really beginning to deteriorate. Some of it several buildings needs to be torn down, and they just couldn't get the funds that they needed to operate the facility, because, like I say, it's just kind of it's not in a state branch of government that you're thinking about in terms of keeping people in a detention facility. Well, anyway, this was necessary. They're going to put $10 million into that facility, and to be able to fix a lot of the things that they need to fix, they're going to need some more money to fix it right. You know, and I'll say that now, they're going to need some more money to fix that right. But they also allocated $5 million for the Department of Public Safety to work with the Department of Human Services to start looking and to put one facility in North Mississippi and one facility in South Mississippi. So they'll find a place to put those two facilities and add those. We've got to be, you know, we have a real problem with juveniles, and we've got to be able to house.
Could that not be handled by public safety? I mean, could you not hand that off, the detention side?
Again, you're dealing with juveniles, and it's that there is federal rules and stuff that you deal with on federal. You can't put them. You have to declare them adults to put them in like a regular jail.
Well, no, I mean, could you turn over Oakley and these new facilities? Could they just be part of Department of Public Safety and let corrections handle them? I mean, because you figure Rankin County has its own juvenile detention center, you know, but that's a county for center.
Yeah, but it's a county facility, but it's not tied into.
No,
you know, the sheriff doesn't have anything to do with it. It's totally separate.
Right.
Same thing with the one in Hinds County. Those facilities are tied into the Department of Human Services, because that's where Child Protective Services is at. You've got more going there than just saying, well, we're going to put them in jail. It don't work that way.
Right, of course.
So these facilities have to meet certain federal standards and do those kind of things. So that's the reason it doesn't need to be in the Department of Public Safety. That's not a good place for it.
Yeah, and the squeaking wheel gets the grease. You
Sure.
know that.
Absolutely.
And this one hadn't been squeaking, so we've over the years just, I hate to say ignored it, but not given it the attention that it needed. And
there's a lot of things that go on in the state.
Oh my God!
I mean, there's a lot of things that go on in the state. I mean, it's not like you can't go ahead and fix it. I mean, you can get it fixed, but it just hasn't been on the. As you said, it just hasn't been squeaking enough.
Yeah.
Nobody's really said a whole lot about it. So there'll be two new facilities, one north, one south. Oakley stays central.
Oakley stays central.
And you fix some of the buildings out there. Maybe y'all look at taking some down.
Well, there's funds to take some of those that need to come down. They're taking down 3 buildings, is what I understand.
Almost cheaper to build a new one instead of trying to rehab an old one.
That's sometimes that's true. Sometimes you still have to deal with Department of History and Archives, and you can't take them down. But these buildings were not that old, but they were that deteriorated. So,
Really?
Department of History and Archives is look, we have a great one. They do a really good job,
I don't disagree.
and they're doing their best to try to protect these old buildings that we have.
Sure.
Those are our history, whether we want to deal with it or not. They're our history, and they do a good job. Barry White that runs that does a great job over there, but It's very frustrating when you're trying to maintain stuff.
Yeah.
And it would be cheaper and easier to tear it down.
Take a whole bunch of really nice, good digital photos, put it in a frame hanging on the wall, and say, "Hey, this is what the building. This is what the building used to look like when it stood here before we built this pretty thing."
right.
I mean, that's where that needs to be. I get it, but we that's almost cutting your nose off to spite your face. I mean, in my opinion,
Having the old buildings is necessary.
to a degree.
Yeah.
To a degree, but I don't like having. Well, we don't have to make that anyway.
We've been through the same thing at the state hospital.
Right.
Some buildings there, same deal. Some we could tear down.
Deal
some
with
we
the
couldn't.
same thing with the state capitol and the old capitol and the
Yeah.
I like
Governor's
exception.
mansion.
Yeah, but didn't y'all meet in the old Capitol?
we met in the old capitol.
which was
We
really
didn't.
cool.
Yeah, it was really cool.
I saw a picture
first
of
time,
you,
First time legislation had been passed in the old capitol since 1902.
Yeah.
That was really cool. But let me tell you something. We can't go there and meet regularly. We can't meet there regularly because that old building will not handle having 122 men and women in there every day, plus all support people and all that.
Yeah, it's not big enough.
It's only got one bathroom.
Right, it's not big enough. It's not. It's right. It's fun to walk over there and have a set.
Yeah.
Well, Mississippi was much smaller back.
Sure,
in the
back in the day. That it's fun to do that, and I really do applaud that y'all did do that. I think that's neat, and we probably should do more of that and use that building. But as you said, it just has one bathroom. You would have to facilitate some outdoor, porta potty type things. They have some really nice ones on.
Yeah, we've had them at the Capitol before.
Yeah,
We've
of
had
course.
Didn't have water.
So I mean,
During the
right,
freeze,
during the
yeah.
freeze. I mean, so you could make accommodation, but I mean, I do like the idea that y'all did do that, and you do go to that building and did gavel in over there. That's pretty cool. You should do it every now and then, Senator. You should take them over there this coming
What was it,
session.
2008, y'all
Yeah.
all went over there and the whole thing
We
opened.
did.
Opened
We
the
opened
session.
the session there in like 2008.
Right. Maybe you should do that again just for fun,
Yeah.
and just to do it. But some of these older buildings, we don't need to just stand in effigy to our history. I think we can take really nice pictures and build really pretty models and have that archive somewhere where you can look at that. Especially if you've got 4 or 5 of them. I can leave one and knock the other 4 down. I mean, that's to me that's fine. Anyway, so youth court's fixed.
Youth court.
Now, when does it
Youth
sunflower?
court is a work in progress.
Okay.
Yes.
But
And
hopefully-
just remember this. That's what I'll say to anybody out there who's having heartburn right now about what we did.
Right.
We're going to be back in January, and if there's something wrong, we can fix it.
That's
And
right.
if it don't show up because some of this stuff doesn't take effect until 27, like July of 27, and if it don't show up until after it's up and operating, we'll be back in January 28. We can fix it again.
And you can fix it again, or you can have a special session.
And our governor can always call us back.
Right, and you
if
can
he
go
wants
back,
to.
and you can fix it then.
So he called that special session. He gave us 24 hours. I was in Kentucky at a legislative conference. He was in Montana in one. So I drove all the way back to get back there the next morning, and he flew back.
I flew
And
back.
he was late coming back.
You
He-
drove to Kentucky?
Yeah, I drove to Kentucky.
Well, I had flown to Montana.
Well, yeah.
At a President Pro Tem's forum, and so with President Pro Tem from every state, we had like 40 something there. And I had to get up I got notice that afternoon. I was on a plane the next morning coming home, and I got here at 8 o'clock that night. We worked till
and
about 20
he
till
had
12.
everybody held up waiting for him to get back.
Yeah, I don't know about that, but
You walked
they
in
needed
to-
my vote.
You walked
it.
in to vote.
Yeah, they needed my vote, and I was on the plane as fast. I'm scared to death. I was going to
No
get
proxy
bumped.
voting.
No, there's no proxy
There's
voting.
no proxy voting.
So no, and
no, it's
believe
in
me, I did
California.
call the roll and
Yeah,
on
right.
every vote.
Yeah.
And so yeah.
Yeah, you've actually done that for us this year on earlier in the year. You talked about how you do the voting, You know, and how you call it. It's just, if you're not paying attention, you're going to miss it.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, so it's pretty much, it's back working, we're functioning, everybody's somewhat happy for now.
Everybody's good, and Rankin County,
Yeah, Rankin County's
did not
back to
change.
normal, and did not change. And
They just fixed that one issue with
yeah, right. But everybody else is having some changes.
everybody else got treated.
That's under, you said what, under 50,000 in
Under
the county?
50,000, yeah.
There'll be some changes for them. Not really anything on the coast, but some of your smaller counties like Stone County, which is a little bit north of there.
You know,
Well, it just improved the justice system.
Yeah, it just improves it.
That's it.
Okay. All right, so the next item up for bid is, as Bob Barker would say, on The Price is Right. The next
Come
item
on
up,
down, huh?
Come on down. The next item up for bid is redistricting. So redistricting has been on everybody's lips since the Supreme Court this year, since the Supreme Court handed down that Louisiana decision about
Callis versus Louisiana.
the Callis versus Louisiana, and you've seen Alabama, Florida, you've seen some other states do some redistricting. We have talked about redistricting here on this show a lot because we've had to do some Senate redistricting, some House redistricting, those sorts of things as mandated by courts. So that's a big topic. Where are we on?
Probably the number one issue right now.
Okay, so let's.
Where are we right now?
Yeah.
Well, first off, I've been appointed as chairman of the Senate redistricting committee, and we're actually having an organizational meeting today for the joint committee, House and Senate, and
Okay.
it's the Senate. We go every other term, every other reapportionment with the House and Senate. It's Senate's turn, so I'll be the chairman of the joint committee.
Okay.
And we meet today, as a matter of fact, so
Okay.
to do that. And then we'll travel all over the state. I think it's 10 cities that we'll be visiting, and it'll be meetings, truly hearings. We're going to listen to what the people want, and I think we should. And I think every part of the state has different problems, and they all have different areas that want to make sure that certain things are covered and certain people are reelected and that type of stuff. So I've been through it before. I was
Right.
vice chairman last time.
Right.
So, and it's amazing. We have to do this, by the way, for the simple reason that the federal courts or federal law say that every 10 years when you have a census, you have to have reapportionment to
Right.
we can have a 5% variance as an example in any of the House districts or the Senate district within 5%. On congressional, it's one man, one vote type thing, or one person, one
So
vote.
state's a little different than federal.
State's a little different, and they give us a 5% leeway to
But
try to do
federal's
things.
different.
But if you're not careful, you'll have some senator over here that has 25,000 people and no one has 80 because of the population shift. To give you an example of the population shift, I've said this before, from 2010 to 2020, the Delta counties, river counties lost 35,000 people in 10 years. By now it's over 50,000 that have moved out of the Delta. They haven't all moved to other states by any means. A lot of those people in the Delta, northern Delta especially area, have moved to DeSoto County, and then they've moved east. And I even know a guy from the Delta that's moved to Madison County. So they're just moving out of the Delta, because of that population shift. This is a problem. But then all at once, this area here has too many people. So you just got to kind of balance it out and try to get within a 5% variance. So we have goofy laws and recommendations by the federal government. And by the way, that nothing now is based on race. It's strictly based on Democrat and past performance of Republicans and Democrats. And so our new maps will be based on that, and to try to be fair to the people of Mississippi. So we're going to be listening to them. But anyway, what I was going to say is last time, Jim Beckett was the chairman from the House, and Beckett would open it up saying, we're explaining what we're doing at the hearing each time. And he would say, things like one of the first things he'd say anyway is, we're not here to talk about mayors and aldermen. We're not here to talk about supervisors. We're not doing that. They do that. We don't do that. We're here to talk at that time about Congress and congressional. This time, legislative, congressional, and judicial. This time, the Supreme Court. Supreme Court. There's lawsuits pending on that, as a matter of fact, because it's not. The population shift has changed over the years, and we haven't redone the judicial since in the 80s, I think.
We haven't.
No, but we should have, but we haven't.
Okay.
And every year it's a topic, but nobody ever does it because they don't want to get involved.
Is it a hot potato?
Yeah. So now we're doing it. And so because it's gotten to a point where we have to do it.
Okay.
So, but anyway,
So that's
one of the
redistricting
first things they'll
everything.
say every time someone will stand up and say, my supervisor, and Beckett would say,
Nope.
as I said, we're not here to talk. Yeah, well, I want to talk about it anyway. Then the next person, my alderman, well, we're not here to talk about alderman. We're here to talk about at that time now three things.
So if I understand this correctly, you're talking about redistricting not only on the state level, where you have to fix some things like between Senate and House,
That's
because
right.
there's some districts then you've got your judicial level
That's
that
right.
y'all are going to have to redistrict, and then the federal. So we're talking about state, judicial, and federal all in 1 year?
That's right.
Seriously?
Yes. And it's a problem, but we're going to do it.
In one, we're going to do
And-
all three of those in 1 year.
Well,
That's insane. That's a
if
lot.
we're going to change if we're going to change the House and Senate, or anything else that is that deals with the election next year,
Yes.
it has to be done. We're going to have to get the governor to call a special session for that, and we don't need to deal with the congressional stuff, and we can deal with that in the regular session. They're going to go ahead
We
and
just
have
had
the
a
hearings.
primary for that, and they run every 2 years.
Right,
So
right.
They can do the hearings and get all that done, so that during the regular session next time we can deal with that issue
on the federal side.
on the
That's
federal
right.
side.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
but
Okay.
we're going to listen to what people
I
are
got
saying
it. I got
about
it.
it.
So
because-
really, the only real main changes we're talking about here will be on the federal side, but maybe on the state side.
Well,
well,
2
state
years
judicial.
ago, 2 years ago, we were under a federal court order
Right.
that we had to change some districts in DeSoto
And
County.
you spent a lot of time doing that.
Forest County,
Senator.
and,
Well, a lot.
and the Senate, and then on the House side, it was up in Northeast Mississippi, one district. Well, we want to try to go back to the district that we had, and
We passed reapportionment or redistricting in 2022 for the legislature and Congress at that time as well. And so, since the courts have ruled that the last election we had in 25 was an illegal election because it was race-based,
Okay.
and we don't do that anymore. That's
Right.
out.
Right. Supreme
And-
Court threw that out.
Yeah, so that means we actually go back to the 2022 map
Okay.
that we passed, which Republicans and Democrats on the Senate side voted for.
and so the same.
So
The
roll-
majority of
rolling-
both.
So when the Supreme Court handed down that ruling on the Calais case in Louisiana, did that just move us back to 22 map, or do y'all have to?
we
Well,
have to vote to put it back.
You have to vote to put it back.
Right.
Yeah, and we're waiting for the Senate, and I'm sure the House has as well. We've asked our attorneys to get with the judges to determine, do we just automatically go back? And if so, how about those that were elected, what they say is an illegal election? We don't know. We're waiting for the judges to give us some guidance on
But
what they
meanwhile, back at the
want.
ranch, we'll go start redistricting.
Yeah, but back there, you'll start redistricting.
Yeah, but if it's what I think, we're going to go back to the 22 map. I don't think there's going to be any tweaking to the Senate side. I understand there might be a few tweaks to the House side, but we don't know yet. But what we're going back to, I can tell you, as far as state legislative, is we're going to try to go back to the 22 map that we passed, that people were happy with.
Does that take into account all the migration that's happened out of the
Yes.
Delta? And so that map takes that into account
It does.
anyway.
It does. And we'll, of course, 30 we'll have another census. 31, we'll do a new map again.
We'll do it again in 4 years.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, so it's never ending type deal. I've been through several of them. Matter of fact, I had to run 2 years in a row because
Right, I
of it.
remember. Right, I remember this.
When I got elected and there was a lawsuit
Yeah.
and we had to run again my first year.
Yeah, I remember
in
you
office.
talking about this, and
I was running again. Yeah,
as we were
it's-
talking about redistricting, and you
It's
talking
not
Hey,
fun.
he's just like Forrest Gump. He just likes running.
Keep running. I really didn't like it, and I wish we didn't
Well,
have to do this now, but we
right,
do.
right.
The
So-
court said we do.
So with the other states that have gone ahead and done congressional redistricting, I'm talking federal,
Yeah.
that have already done congressional that just jumped on it immediately right after that. We did not.
We had, but when this ruling came down,
Yeah.
we had already had our primaries.
Correct. So there
Our,
would be
our
no,
election was already in process.
there would
so
not be any point in doing it.
was-
That's right, and they run again next year.
We'd have just been right back in court if we'd have done it.
Correct.
So this, we just need to fix this when the time comes.
Right.
Yeah, our elections are every 4 years. Theirs every 2 years. Well, supposedly.
Sure.
It seems like we have people that are running every year. I swear. But anyway.
Yes.
Yes, we're doing what the courts. We're going to do what the courts tell us to do.
And so on the congressional side, y'all will talk about that, come up with some kind of, because I
will.
said this before, I want it to be fair. I want people to get who they want.
Absolutely.
I want who they want representing them, and I agree with the one man, one vote.
Yes.
I want to see it apportioned correctly to where
Well, yeah,
you
I mean,
get who you want. I mean, and I may not agree with who you pick, but that's
compactness,
Remember what they said
population.
in kindergarten, right? You get what you get, don't throw a fit.
No, you
Yeah.
get what you get and don't throw a fit.
Yeah, compactness of
Right,
a district,
right.
and that's in all of the different elections.
Mm-hmm.
Compactness and population. That's that's what you determine.
And that will affect the
And that
28 election, right?
For
Congressional,
the-
because we've already
that's
had
right.
that would affect
That's right.
28.
Right.
Which means they're running next year based on what we do.
What you do, correct? You're right, because they have to run every two. And then on the Senate side, that would not really affect
Next year.
I'm
Next year, we run again
Mississippi
next year.
Senate.
talking about congressional.
Senate's a statewide off.
Yeah.
Right,
US
but I
Senate's
mean,
a
but it's
statewide office.
Senate.
right, but it would Cindy Hyde's running this year.
Oh, U.S. Senate.
US
I'm
Senate.
sorry.
But it don't matter because they're not districts. They're
They're
statewide.
not-
statewide.
statewide, so
right,
you-
that don't
we
even
don't
matter.
have to do
Right.
redistricting.
Thank you for reminding me of that. Duh. Anyway, they're statewide.
thought you were talking about state,
Right,
yeah.
but it's just going to affect people like our representative, like Michael Guest. His
That's correct.
His district may change,
Well,
may
and-
wobble a little bit. It may.
Well, it may, and you have to be really careful there. I think Michael does a great job. I hope that he stays. I hope he runs again and stays as long as he wants to.
Sure.
But you have to be very careful not to take too many of his supporters away and put in someone else's district to change the dynamics of that one.
Right.
If so, then we may lose Michael Guest. So you got to be careful what you do. And
Sure.
Trent Kelly, Michael Guest, Mike Ezell, and Benny Thompson.
Mm-hmm.
So
Now, the kicker to it is, come next year's and 30 when the population's redone,
Right.
we could be back to 5.
Well, I was fixing to say, what's the
that would be
We could
wonderful.
be down to 3.
we could be down to 3, but I mean, our population's growing.
Right.
It
That's
is
what-
now,
in
but
the
it
state.
actually we lost like 5,000 between 10 and 20.
Right, but our population is growing again,
Right.
and so
It's growing now.
It's a possibility we could go back to 5.
Yeah, I think we're a few years. I think we're another. Well, it's possible,
It's
but
possible.
I don't think it'll be this time. I think it'll be the next.
40.
Yeah,
Okay.
It could be.
because
this
we're
time.
not the only state growing, but there are other states are losing
I
population.
was going to say,
Okay.
California's going
Can-
to lose a bunch.
Can I throw you a curveball?
Sure,
Can I
I'd
just
rather have a slider. I can hit a slider.
I
can
hit
I
a
throw
fa-
you a curveball?
I can hit a fastball.
I just want your opinion. The SAVE Act that's running around. I just happened to watch
The what?
The SAVE Act. Save them.
Okay.
The voting rights act.
Okay.
Voting. I just have a question. That's a federal issue because it's federal legislation.
Correct. It only deals with federal elections.
Only deals with federal elections.
Correct.
But I was just watching DeSantis, he was on TV yesterday, and he's talking about how the state passed the SAVE Act. And I'm just curious, okay, so we already have voter ID and stuff.
Mississippi already has
in
everything.
We were a
in the
leader
state.
in that. Actually.
Correct. We already have all of these items
Right.
for the state.
Right.
And
And which it also affects federal elections. You have to walk in and vote for a federal election.
That's
in
what I'm
Mississippi,
saying.
You got to show your
We
ID.
already have this. How in the world does a state like Florida, how did they not have that? I mean, I'm really kind of, the stuff that they're trying to pass on the federal side, we've been doing for,
Florida.
Look.
Listen, Florida has only been hardcore red for about 10 years.
well, that's true. They were
they were kind of
they were a
purple.
purple. They were a purple state.
right,
You know,
but they're hardcore red now.
They are.
like in Montana, where I was at the President Pro Tem's forum. Let me tell you, these other states are coming to me saying, "How did y'all do that?"
That's where I was going to go.
Mississippi
Ask.
is a leader, not just in that,
But
but
in
in
voter ID,
education, voter ID, a
education,
lot of things.
citizenship, all of those
medical
things.
marijuana.
Right.
I mean, we've done so many things. A lot of these other states haven't, and they're following Mississippi. So don't believe all this baloney about we're so far behind, because
We're
I'm
not.
telling you, we're not.
But I like people seeming to think that we are, because when you get it, you realize that we're not.
No.
Well, that's where I
People
was
are
going.
coming to us all the time about how are you getting all these new businesses?
Right.
How did you do this? You know, your voter ID. How did you do? You know, on your schools. How did you go from like 48th to 15th? What did
Yeah.
you do? What?
Right.
Yeah, they're coming to us, and I love it. And,
The election of 2008.
yeah,
You go back to there.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
it's a shame that some of the reporters, especially on a national basis, haven't realized that Mississippi is a leader in this
In all these
this
things.
country.
So people are coming to you and saying, Senator, how did y'all do that voter ID? How did y'all do?
And I'm
How
giving
does that
them
hold up in
copies-
court?
Giving them copies of the bill and telling them what the debate was and what
Mm-hmm.
the problems are, and you know, yeah.
Yeah.
So we're helping other states.
Well, right, because we.
Now I'm not saying we're
good at
best in everything. We got
No.
a long way to go.
Right.
There's no doubt about it.
But we have a balanced budget.
we do
pay
have
da-
a
We
balanced
pay down
budget.
debt. We don't overextend ourselves. Our bond ratings are going up all the time. I mean,
We've improved
Our
our
education
and our
is-
retirement
the
system we have
Mississippi
under
Miracle, the
control.
retirement system's under
We've
control.
done a lot of things really, really good, and
Yeah,
I'm real
right.
proud of the work that the
Both
chambers have done.
Right. And y'all did good on getting the juvenile thing out. I mean, that was.
Yeah. Well, we've given.
So we're getting a raise next year.
We've given the teachers a pay raise every
Raise.
year.
Are you
Raise,
getting? No, I'm
raise.
not talking
Everybody
about
wants
us.
a raise.
You.
Oh no!
No, we're not getting a raise.
But now
I'm
look,
trying. I mean,
Look,
I mean,
I'm not
come
running
on.
again, and I would vote for a pay raise in a heartbeat to help the others become, which I have voted
It's
for
been
in the
tw- it's
past.
been
84.
It's been
wasn't it?
40 years. Come
Yeah,
on.
It's time.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's been 40 years. It needs to get done.
Well, I think there are a lot of things that aren't done properly. I think the legislative pay, I think if you paid a little more, you'd probably get better people to run.
Yes.
And
We-
and you'd keep some that are leaving because they can't afford to be in the legislature.
Right. That needs to get fixed.
well, what
I'm
you-
pushing for this for you guys to get a pay raise.
What you have now mostly are self-employed people and retired people
Right.
in the legislature.
And y'all have done a great
Because-
job. I'm not
Yeah.
not knocking that because you really have. I mean, we've talked about it plenty on here. I even when we have Philip Gunn sitting here, and he was talking about it, he's like, yeah, I agree with you on the 2008, but really it was 2006 when we formed the caucus and we really started gelling and coming together and
Yes.
and so he.
Oh
he-
yeah, when
Right.
when the House became Republican, we had already been Republican.
Correct.
And in the Senate,
Yeah.
and we were used to, you could introduce anything that sounded good, and because we knew the House was going to kill it. Well, guess what? We had to start being careful what we introduced because they would take it.
They would take
And
it.
so you think, whoa, I'm not sure we really want that.
I know,
So,
right?
Yeah. So
Well-
we work together very, very well, even though you don't hear that. I couldn't have a better friend than Gene.
I know.
And we worked.
He's taught me so much. It's not funny. It's just,
Oh no.
yeah. I really think you need to stay. But
Well,
No, it's time.
yeah, we've all said that, right? We've all
Well,
said
thank
that.
you, but I know it's time for me.
Well,
One more year.
I appreciate you guys.
One more
coming in.
term.
One more term.
No, one more year.
One more term.
No.
But
thank
one
you.
more.
But I do appreciate y'all coming in and explaining the judicial court thing, so that maybe that puts that to bed. And then redistricting is going to be really interesting.
Redistricting
Is going to be really interesting.
When we talk about redistricting, let's talk about one other thing.
Okay.
I want to talk about the young men that are a generation below me that are not
Us?
voting. Yeah, you.
Gen X.
You.
Let's talk
He
about
votes.
you.
He votes.
I'm talking about Gen X votes, and I'm talking about white, black, it don't matter. Young men are not voting. And,
We did not.
blame it on whatever you want to. I don't care why you're not doing it, but you need to understand something. You're not voting, young men not voting is the problem with our whole system. You're the reason that bad people do get elected. You're not voting. You're complaining about it on Facebook. Most of the stuff that I see about people quite whining about why the SAFE Act isn't being passed and why this isn't being done, that isn't done. It's the Gen X men are not voting. White men, black men, Hispanic men, you're not voting. Get up and go vote. Most of you aren't even registered. Go register to vote. Do something to take care of yourself. Quit whining about it on Facebook and get up and go register to vote and go vote when the time comes. It's important.
Actually, you don't have a right to whine and complain if you don't vote.
No,
I agree.
I agree with that, but
You should.
I don't want to hear it.
Yeah.
Your conversation carries no weight with me.
you know what I'm talking about.
I
It's
do,
a privilege.
100%.
It's a right. It's a privilege. It's something that you should really, really enjoy doing, knowing that you're making a
So
difference.
I'm
And every vote does count. We've had legislators, especially we've had them in the Senate. They had one not long ago in the House that tied. And so you think one vote doesn't matter?
It matters.
One vote does matter.
It does matter.
Yeah.
And I can say this as Gen X because Gen X starts in 65. I'm born in 68. So I'm about as close to an OG Gen X as you can get, because the cutoff is 80. So I'm on the beginning of the Gen X spectrum. We were those kids that our parents turned loose every day, and we pretty much raised ourselves, and we have attitudes, and we that's who we are. I get it, and I get it. That's who I'm that person. But I said this off camera, and I'll say this on camera. When I talk to these young people today, and I tell them, look, the problems that you're facing right now and that your parents are facing right now are not your fault. And I don't expect you to fix it. It's my fault. It's my fault, and it's everybody in my generation's fault because we allowed all this Mickey Mouse craziness, woke ideology to get roots and to grow. And so if you notice, and I mentioned this today, look around. And I offer this to you, look around, because Gen X people are coming out and they're saying, wait a minute.
I hope so.
This is not what I grew up in, and it's not what I want. The Bible teaches that, teach a kid the way he should go, and when he's older, he won't depart from it. So our parents did do that. I mean, they didn't spare the rod. They did teach us right from wrong. They gave us a grounding, but it's taken us a little bit longer, Gene, to turn around and go, wait a minute, something's wrong. So I think this population, our group, my group, is waking up to what you're saying, because a lot of things are wrong, not only just, as you said, in the federal level, but in other places, and we need to fix it, and we need to fix it quick. And if you notice, I'm talking about it all the time, and I'm saying things, and there's people that I know that you would never think in a million years that person would be talking about exactly the same thing I'm talking about. Now, do we all agree? No, but we all are moving in the same direction.
Well, that's right.
And we don't have to agree. We don't have to work on the same. We don't have to want to try to do
But
the
go
same
vote.
things.
Go vote.
I don't care whether you're a Democrat,
Right.
a Libertarian, or
Right.
a Republican. It don't matter. Go vote.
Right.
It's
Well,
It's
like
our-
I say,
it's
people
your
have
country,
fought and
it's your
died for
state.
your rights to vote.
Correct.
So, yes.
Right. They did. And all of my generation knows those people who fought in the wars. I got to know my grandparent. I knew my grandfather. Both of them who fought in World War II. One Pacific, one in the European. I knew that. I know those stories. I knew those men. From all. I mean, I had one that was on Iwo Jima, so I know the stories. But it for our generation, it was a little bit different for us. It's that the greatest generation, and then the baby boomers set it up great for us because it was easy times. We got to have a good. Now we're back to the hard times again.
Yeah.
So I'm right there. Go vote. Go vote. Go vote.
And speaking of going to vote,
Coming up soon.
August the 11th, I have a judicial candidates conference
Right over there.
Right over there at the
Community Center.
Pearl Community Center, 6:00 p.m. on a Tuesday evening. Won't last but a couple hours. Come meet and talk to and listen to the three candidates for Chancery Court and the three candidates for Circuit Court. These judges are extremely important to you. No matter what you think, these candidates are important to you. Having the right person as a Circuit Court judge means the difference in the safety of your family. It means the difference between you being able to do the things you want to safely in Rankin County and not. Chancery Court is the same thing. You don't think about it as being safety, but it is, because it involves families, it involves youth, it involves everything about life in general as a family. It's important. Please come listen to them. Come see what they have to say. Meet them in person. If you're a supporter, you'll be able to pick up signs or literature or whatever. If you want to just ask them questions, you'll be able to do that after they speak, or before they get there early and get them before they speak. But talk to them, come participate, and then when it's time on November the 3rd, whatever the date is, November the 2nd or 3rd, go vote. Go vote for Cindy Hyde-Smith. Go vote for Michael Guest. It's important. If you go vote, can't tell you how important it is.
Well, and the judges, every family is affected by the judges, because you're going to have someone in your family that's going to be sued. You're going to have someone who may get a divorce. You're going to have someone that, whatever. And so the judges are very important to each and every person.
That they are. Go vote's a big
Go vote.
Excuse me.
People died for that right.
That's right.
Yeah,
And we need to keep it. There's a lot of things going on in this country
yeah.
where I'm blessed to live right here in Mississippi, Rankin County, in the city of Pearl.
Amen.
Amen.
But to give a real quick update on the legislature, let me tell you this. We have the state of Mississippi is in the best financial shape it's ever been in, ever. Right now, we have more in surplus. We have funded more different areas, different agencies. We've given pay raises. I think personally we need to give the state employees a pay raise this year. That's my opinion.
And the legislature.
Well, the legislature, I'll vote for it. I think you're right. But anyway, we like I say, we balance our budget every year. We've paid off debt, so we paid off over $1 billion in debt for the state, and we're headed in the right direction. We've done a lot of good things, and I say we, because I did get to vote on some of those things. But yes, the House and the Senate together, we've worked hard together to accomplish a lot of good things for Mississippi in the last 8 years, especially. I think so.
I do too. And I think that needs to be rewarded. I'm not saying go out and give yourself a $100,000 pay raise. That's not what I'm saying. But you need to at least double what you make, because it's ridiculous.
Oh, and the legislature?
Yes, it is ridiculous. I mean, you pointed out, here we are sitting here today. You've had a special session, which you get paid for, but you had a special session. But you're meeting in committee all year long. You're traveling the state, Gene, looking at buildings. This is yes, you don't gavel in except between January and April, but still.
The hours you put in, it's less than minimum wage.
There you go.
I can tell you it is.
It needs to be worth it.
And the longer you're there, and the more
Governor,
Seniority.
yeah. The longer you're there and you have seniority, the more responsibility you usually
Correct.
have, and
Right.
so your payroll, per
Yes.
hour actually goes down.
and we need good people. You're talking about not running again. We need good people
Yeah.
that are willing to step up, and the only way you're going to do that is to have a decent, make something that at least covers the cost of driving from Corinth, Mississippi, all the way down here and having to stay all week to pass legislation.
Yeah.
At least make it worth it. Anyway, thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
I appreciate it.
Well, now you know where we are.
Now we have a legislative Under the Dome update right now today. So now we know where we are, and we'll be doing this again January.
Oh yeah.
Lord will. When's Gavel In Day?
Is it the 5th?
The 5th. It's somewhere right in there.
It's the first Tuesday following the first Monday.
I know, right?
So we won't come in on the first.
Right,
That's
right. It's the
reason.
first Tuesday following the first Monday. So
Yeah. So if
Yeah, so
Monday
it-
is
but-
first, and we have come in on the second. Before.
Right.
So, yeah.
right. So that's when it'll be, and I'm looking forward to it.
It's
And I'll
going to be
have
a
y'all-
good year. I think it's going to be a good year. We're going to have a lot of good things come up. We're going to do a lot of good things for the people of Mississippi. And Gene and I are going to work hard as we can for Pearl and Rankin County to make sure that they get their fair share on everything.
Which is good. We'll have 4,000 bills introduced, and about 400 will make it out. And then we'll have about 30 that'll make law.
Well, probably close to half of our bills that we pass every year are correcting things
Yeah.
of bills
Of
that
previous-
have passed.
of previous.
Because times change, and judges sometimes
Yes.
interpret the law differently
Then what's your intention?
than what the intent was. So we
Right.
have to go back and
And
say,
fix
no, the intent was
Yeah,
this.
and fix it. Right. And fix it. Thank you. I appreciate y'all.
Thank you
Appreciate you.
very much.
All right, we'll see you later. All right, so y'all don't run off, because when we come back, we're going to talk about what's going on this week and Pearl and next week as well, because we'll talk about that too. We'll be right back.
Here in Pearl, we have Trustmark Park. It seats 8,500 people. It's a great venue that we have here locally. You can catch a baseball game. We have a new team, the Mississippi Mud Monsters, so we're so excited about that. And Trustmark Park, the stadium's been fully renovated. And adjacent to that, we have Bass Pro Shop, as well as the Mississippi outlets that people can come shop and enjoy and have a great time. So it's a good place to come. It's a destination spot for our city. We did a $12 million renovation to our Parks and Rec several years ago, and what we were missing was another key area for our children to come and just be able to hang out and have fun, but also have some playground equipment that was really cutting edge. I've always thought if you can get your community together, then you can have a stronger sense of community. And I think that's what Main Street brings to the table for us. And even though we're a post-World War II city and our architectural doesn't signify a downtown, we're trying to have an area that we create that people can come together and have a sense of community.
Folks, welcome back into This Week in Pearl. I'm your host, Frank Hutton, and that was really a fascinating conversation about the redistricting side. You know, there's so much that has to go on there, so many moving parts, and not only do you have the state legislature trying to figure out the best way to redistrict, but you end up with courts that get involved, and it really gets to be just this big mess. And then the census comes around, and you have to keep doing it over and over again. I do like the approach that the senator is taking, and I appreciate him coming in and explaining a little bit about what they're doing. And you know, they're meeting all the time, and they're meeting today. You know, as we're filming this, they're meeting today to talk about redistricting the state of Mississippi, and I'm so glad that he was able to really kind of shed some light on that. And I also appreciate Representative Newman talking about what they did with the youth court, some issues that, you know, the law sunsetted on some things, and they had to really kind of get that fixed, and the governor calling a special session to make that happen. We appreciate that as well. And then I can't emphasize it enough. Go vote. You need to vote, so go vote. All right, so what's happening in the city of Pearl? Well, I do want to touch on one thing that Representative Newman was talking about. Next Tuesday, August the 11th, is the Judicial Forum. It's the judges that are running for court, for the Chancery Court and Circuit Court in Rankin County. They will be in our community center gold room on Tuesday night. You need to come out and hear them, meet them. You get to talk to them personally and ask them questions. Get to know who your judges are, and pick the one that you prefer after you've had a good education and learning about them and who they are and their history and how they think. It's definitely something that I encourage you to do. That is next Tuesday, August the 11th, right here in the city of Pearl at our community center in our big room. Come do that. Also, coming up very, very soon is going to be Pirate football. It's going to happen pretty quick. We start with the 21st. We got Canton coming in for the Jamboree. That's really interesting. If you've never been to a football jamboree, you should check it out because they play on both ends of the field, and you get to see like the upperclassmen, the lowerclassmen. It's really just an organized practice, but it's against another team. So you're not practicing against yourself. You kind of get to evaluate where you are, and you get to see all the kids play. It really is a lot of fun. And then the following week, right behind that, Madison Central will come to Pearl, and we'll kick off the preseason. So you definitely want to get ready because at the end of this month of August, football is back, baby. I'm excited about that. Hey, look, I've enjoyed bringing this show to you today, and I've enjoyed bringing them to you each and every week. I hope you all have a great one, and we will see you next time. Thank you.